G'day, it's good to be with you again. My video is a little bit late this week, but it's been a lot going on, as you can well appreciate. It's been wonderful to see the way our people are looking after each other, not just the leaders, but people in groups and people just reaching out to each other through text message and Zoom, one-on-one Zoom meetings and phone calls. Just fantastic. And the feedback we're getting is that people are feeling really supported, even though it's difficult. And it is difficult. No one's denying it's easy, because it isn't. We're in the middle of these stage 3 restrictions, praying that it won't go to stage 4 as this pandemic, this epidemic in Victoria gets under control, or is brought under control. One of the words that keeps coming up in my chats with people, I phone call and Zoom one-on-ones and so forth, is this word struggle. It's a struggle. I'm struggling. And there's no denying that life is not a bit of a struggle at the moment at times. But I thought about that word struggle. I was chatting with someone about that the other day, and they were just indicating how much of a struggle it was to get up each day. And I relate to that. I do understand that it's a struggle for some people. But this word struggle kept playing around in my mind. So I went back to the Bible, which is a very good thing to do most of the time when you've got a few questions. And I looked up the word struggle and how many times it's mentioned. Struggle or struggled is mentioned in the Bible, and it's quite a few times. And the context of where that word is used is really, really illuminating. One of the ones that stood out to me was the story of Jacob wrestling or struggling with the angel during that long night of the soul for him. And which is a picture of intercessory prayer and the struggle in prayer. And Jacob overcomes. He didn't beat God. He didn't defeat God in some wrestling match, but he struggled with the angel. He struggled in prayer, and God gives him a new name and a new future. That's instructive. Another time in Romans chapter 15, Paul asks the church at Rome to join him in his struggle in prayer to God for him, because he's aware that this is not just physical circumstances that are affecting him, but spiritual ones as well. In fact, in Ephesians 6, Paul once again says that our struggle is not against flesh and blood. There are other forces at work in the spiritual realm that affect all of our circumstances. So we struggle in prayer, we intercede. And here's the thing about struggling intellectually or emotionally, which can be pretty exhausting, or we can struggle in prayer. And the difference with that kind of struggle is one's a flesh struggle and one's a spiritual struggle. And when we struggle in prayer, when we persevere in prayer and we don't give up in prayer, grace gets all over that. God's grace begins to soak into that. And we are pushed through our circumstances. We are led through our circumstances. We are empowered and resourced and refreshed even in the midst of the worst of those circumstances. And so my encouragement to you today would be, if we're going to do any struggling at all, let's struggle in prayer. Let's take the advice of Paul the Apostle, who invited the church to pray for him and struggle with him in prayer that he might overcome. Let's struggle in prayer for each other. Let's struggle in prayer for our Premier, our Prime Minister, all those helping these two men as they seek to bring this epidemic under control. It's not an easy task. They must struggle at times as well. Our struggle is not against flesh and blood. It's against powers and principalities and spiritual forces in dark places, intent on our destruction. But we have weapons of the warfare. We can and will overcome as we struggle in prayer, not just in the flesh. I want to encourage you with that word, struggle. You can struggle intellectually, emotionally, or physically. It's not going to amount to much. Just get you more and more frustrated. But if we struggle in prayer, God's grace soaks into that and gives it such power to look into our circumstances, get perspective on it, and cruise on through that until we come out the other side. May God bless you as you struggle in prayer. May you know the joy of grace getting on your prayers and breaking through. I can't wait to see you again. God bless you. Look forward to meeting with you on Sunday during live worship. Bye-bye.